Academic institutions themselves are under pressure to perform, to recruit students, to offer them a high quality education. We as institutions need to be behaving with integrity and setting example. On the other hand, students are under increasing pressure, financial pressure, pressure from society, families, parents, and sometimes that means they take shortcuts. What we would prefer is for them not to take shortcuts and us have to deal with the negative consequences, but rather early on instill in them the values of academic integrity so they don't go down that road.
We've moved from a world of information scarcity to a world of information overload, and that makes it very, very difficult for institutions to be able to tell at face value whether or not a student's work is their own. And that, I think, requires institutions to now think far more carefully about the way in which they assess work as being the work of a student, or whether they in fact continue to expect the work to be the work of a student, or whether in fact what a student is expected to do is to collate and reorganise pre-existing knowledge.
The contract cheating is the real challenge and the real ongoing challenge, because now we've got tools for detection about ordinary academic integrity, as in, have you acknowledged the work of others? Have you colluded? Etc. The real difference with the contract cheating is that I can give the students a topic. It might be, say, a take-home exam, and the students have access to that topic a few hours before they're actually going to do it and take it home. The idea is that there's a small amount of time for the students to respond. When you go to contract cheating sites, you can find that they will respond to that particular topic within 2 or 3 hours. You pay more, but the work will be done. And you won't pick it up with ordinary detection tools.
I think that compounding the problem also is the lack of familiarity with plagiarism in general on the part of the teaching staff, as well as the lack of familiarity with plagiarism software. So for instance, some of the staff do not really understand the difference between similarity and plagiarism. And as a result, there's a shift of focus where instead of being a mentor to the students, the staff start to take on a detective role. And that is really not very productive in terms of the students' development. From my personal experience, often students do not want to plagiarize at all. They are simply unfamiliar with the conventions of referencing if they came from a different culture or not having had sufficient experience in graduate studies. And on the other hand, some of these students really just have poor note-taking skills, as well as a general lack of confidence in their language abilities. As such, they end up copying wholesale off the material simply because they do not really understand how to paraphrase that material.
Institutions within the academic community, faculty boards, university boards, teaching managers, etc. Not everybody is very willing to really think about integrity. It's also a bit risky. Somebody might think there's something wrong when you have integrity on the agenda, when you pay attention to integrity. So paying attention, being clear, is not always as self-evident as might be thought. So the first challenge is to pay attention. Very simple.
So I think institutions actually have to take responsibility for academic integrity. It's no longer enough just to say, students, you shouldn't cheat. If you're honest, it'll all be okay. And it's also not okay to say to staff, listen, if you fix your assessment, students won't be able to cheat. We know from our research over many decades that that's just not the case. So institutions need to take a responsibility and put in place an institution-wide program to make sure that every stakeholder is on the same page.